My name is Mark Robbins, and I'm the head of corporate AI strategy at Intel, as mentioned. Let's move on to the next slide. So I'm happy to be here as part of this important and exciting event to help celebrate the launch of the Applied AI Research Center, and I'm honored to be launching today's sessions on smart mobility. Now, we define smart mobility as applying technology to movement. Smart mobility provides benefits such as safer roads, better infrastructure, and improved navigation. I'll go through some examples of each of these benefits in a moment, but first I'd like to focus particular attention on the first of these benefits, which is road safety. Now, improving road safety is a huge opportunity for India. In 2018, over 150,000 lives were lost, and over 450,000 people were injured in road accidents across the country. As it turns out, road accidents are the leading cause of death in India for males aged 15 to 39. In addition to this human toll, India's GDP takes a 3% hit every year due to road accidents, equivalent to over $58 billion in value. A World Bank estimates that if India could cut in half the deaths and injuries because of road accidents, its GDP would increase by 14%. Several countries have adopted a program called Vision Zero, and this program aims to introduce policies and systems with the goal that eventually 0 people will be killed or seriously injured in road accidents. Vision Zero was first adopted in Sweden in 1997, and it's resulted in a 58% reduction in road fatalities over a 20-year period. Next slide, please. So on the previous slide, I mentioned that smart mobility is about applying technology to movement. Of course, AI is one type of technology, and it's the focus of this conference. But let's define AI a bit more precisely. AI is about enabling machines to mimic human capabilities. This slide shows a few different applications of AI. Now, many of you are probably familiar with the speech-to-text capabilities of Google and Alexa and Siri. And you're probably also aware that Facebook uses AI to produce your personalized newsfeed. When AI is applied to smart mobility, we're taking it to the next level and using AI to save lives. Image recognition, which is shown in the upper left of this slide, is sometimes called computer vision, and it's the most prominent type of AI for smart mobility. On the next few slides, we'll cover some of the ways that AI is enabling smart mobility. Next slide, please. So when it comes to applying AI to mobility, autonomous driving gets a lot of the airtime, and autonomous driving is an exciting opportunity for many parts of the world. I happen to live in Palo Alto, California, in Silicon Valley, and often see autonomous vehicles from Waymo and a whole host of startups being tested on the streets right around my neighborhood. But at the end of the day, each country should apply AI to mobility in the way that is right for them. And I think the most important application of AI and mobility is safety and the opportunity to save lives. Advanced driver assistance systems, or ADAS, have been around for a while, starting with anti-lock braking systems about 50 years ago. More modern ADAS technologies are enabled by AI. One example is the collision warning system, or the CWS, that's shown here. This particular CWS was developed by Mobileye, which is an Intel company. Mobileye uses computer vision to detect objects such as pedestrians, other cars, road lane markers, and the system issues warnings about possible collisions or lane departures. This gives drivers a few critical seconds of response time that they need to avoid an accident. And this is really important because 80% of crashes are due to driver inattention during the 3 seconds prior to an accident. We can also use AI-based systems to monitor the driver and look for potentially worrisome behaviors, such as yawning, indicating driver fatigue, or head movements indicating inattention to the road ahead. Such systems can be used to coach or train drivers, helping them to develop safer practices. These newer systems, combined with the systems we have today, can make roads a lot safer. Next slide, please. Now, when a road accident is not the result of human error, it may be the result of poor infrastructure. More often, though, infrastructure issues such as potholes, broken traffic lights, leaning poles, or debris in the road don't result in injuries, but they do result in heavy traffic delays or vehicle damage, and generally speaking, a lower quality of life. AI can help city planners do a better job of maintaining the city and thus improving the quality of life for citizens. The image on the left shows an aggregate of all the infrastructure issues observed by all of the active Mobileye sensors during a period of time. When the number of issues in a given location exceeds a certain threshold, it shows up as a red dot in the image, which means it is tagged for possible investigation by municipal authorities. Computer vision can also be used to highlight the particular issue in question, such as the road debris that's shown on the right in blue. A few pilots of this system have been done in select cities in India. We're looking forward to leveraging these data sets to enable better city and infrastructure planning. Next slide, please. Another contributor to traffic delays is poor navigation. Of course, digital maps have been available for years in GPS systems, but most of these maps are generic and don't include features and insights that are helpful to navigation in India. Computer vision systems such as Mobileye's can be used to collect real-time information such as current road conditions or temporary traffic signs. Indigenous map producers can add all this data from Mobileye sensors to the local details, such as the opening and closing times for nearby schools. Combining all of this information together, they can generate maps that are far more usable and targeted for mobility in India, including, for example, recommended routes for two-wheelers that are different than routes recommended for cars. So better navigation results in a better quality of life by helping avoid road delays. A side benefit of this is healthier air, since cars that get to their destinations faster pollute a lot less. Next slide, please. So mobility is a challenge in India today. And I admit that during my visits to India, when I get in a taxi, I usually just close my eyes to avoid seeing all the challenges the driver has to navigate. But with this mobility challenge comes great opportunity for India, because India has a collection of assets that are unique in the world. You may not think of it as an asset, but your first asset is your complex road environment. This complexity offers a great testing ground for collision warning systems and other ADAS technologies. A second asset is your large base of developer talent to do the data science and develop the algorithms that will produce these AI solutions. A third asset is India's investment in developing data sets, such as the India driving data set, which was collected and released by Intel and IIIT Hyderabad, and that is being used very successfully today for research and development with great results. A fourth asset, and I'll call this an asset because I do think of strong ambition as an asset, is India's desire to ramp and grow in electronics manufacturing following India's strong growth in mobile manufacturing. Automotive electronics for ADAS can be a great path for this ambition, especially considering that India is already the fourth biggest auto manufacturing country with a very large export business, which is your fifth asset. These assets can be brought together and used first to address smart mobility challenges in India, but then you can scale these solutions to the world, starting with countries like Thailand, Indonesia, and Brazil that have mobility challenges that are similar to India's. So smart mobility represents a great opportunity for India to develop, manufacture, and deliver solutions first for India, and then eventually for global markets. With the right investment and leadership, Intel has all the ingredients to become one of the world's smart mobility leaders. Intel is here to partner with you and help you on this journey. Thank you very much.